The year is 2024. PBS Plus has just launched, bringing the world's streaming services to 4,387. How can anyone be expected to go through all this content? Fear not, loyal passengers. Captain Joe Shoes and his first mate Mez are here to travel through space and time to bring you the best nuggets pop culture has to offer. Strap in, folks. It's time for the Car JoeMeZ podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 395 of the Car JoeMeZ podcast. I'm Mez, and my co-host, as always, is
the magistrate of Caravan City. I'm Captain Joe Shoes from the Car JoeMeZ podcast.
Yeah, you are, buddy. What's up? How you doing, bro?
What an action-packed week, Gomez. And I'm just going to say it right now.
Ooh, what are you going to say?
If you're the type who's not up for a wrestling episode, then we'll see you next week. Because sometimes these things happen, as my dead grandma used to say when she was less dead. She used to say these things. And this is the 1 week of the year where we are wallpapering the timeline with the old wrestling.
It's true. I'm surprised. We don't talk about wrestling. It's very rare we actually talk about wrestling.
I'm probably one of the top 7 or 6 wrestlers in the world right now today. I'm the one guy who didn't run into the main event of WrestleMania.
They're saving you for SummerSlam.
If they don't want to fly me first class, why am I even getting off my couch?
It's all understandable. I get it. This is why we don't talk about wrestling. We don't want to rub it in your faces that he's the best. You know, we don't want to do that.
Yes, that's exactly
what it is. We're humble here.
But yeah, wall-to-wall wrestling today. I hope you guys are excited. There's so much to cover, so much to speak about, including our movie of the week, which was the 1999 documentary Beyond the Mat. And before we even get into that, I just want to say thank you guys for listening to the Car JoeMeZ podcast. Remember to smash that subscribe button. Leave a 5-star review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or if you're watching on YouTube at youtube.com/@CarJoeMeZpod, where you can get these episodes full and for free every week. Please subscribe. Smash the like button, ring that bell so you get the alerts, and remember to follow us on all the social media at Car JoeMeZ. But Gomez, one thing before we get into wrestling reality, we have to finish up the March Madness sports movie bracket. We have the final, which was a showdown between Major League and Remember the Titans. So, Gomez, I know how I voted. I can assume how you voted. And I'm going to also assume, and I know what happens when you assume. You make an ass out of both me and you, but I'm not worried about making an ass out of you. I assume that this was an absolute trouncing at the polls this week.
Yes, it was. With 80% of the vote, the winner of the sports movie bracket. Folks, was there any doubt? Major League has come out on top. I mean, it makes sense to me. If we had to name movies, sports movies that we love, that would be the official sports movie, this would be up for contention, would it not? This is our movie. We love this movie.
We love this movie, and apparently so does everybody else.
Everyone else.
Remember the Titans is always on the best of lists.
Yes, it's good.
And it's a drama. It's a serious movie and all that. Yeah. But to me, it's not really all that memorable. It's very paint by numbers. And if not for the performance by Denzel really carrying the movie, I think it's, I don't want to say easily forgettable, but I think it just falls into the pack of 105 other very similar sports movies.
I agree with that. I think when you're watching it, you're into it. When it's done, you're like, oh, that was a good ass movie. And then that's it. Like you just move on. And you know, if you're flipping the channels, you see it, you leave it on. Maybe you don't. Like you said, it's very, adult. It's very drama. So, you put on Major League, you having a good time. You don't want to flip over and see Remember the Titans and go, oh, this is where the kid gets paralyzed. I can't wait. Let's strap in, folks. It's like, no, I get it.
No, I want to watch Major League where they said for each win, we peel a section.
Hell yeah.
Because to me, watching that at 9 or 10 years old at the time, to me, that was scandalous. Like at the end of it, we're going to end up with a cardboard cutout of a naked lady. Here we go.
Couldn't wait. And I mean, I watched it on TV all the time. So I was like, oh man, I wonder what happened.
This may be the time where like that was when the old episodes of Saved by the Bell where Zach Morris would pull the cardboard cutout of Kelly Kapowski out from under his bed in her cheerleading outfit. And I was like, if that was me, especially at like 10 years old, that thing would have had such holes in it.
I want to ask you, because you're a little older, was cardboard cutouts like a thing? Was that like a popular thing back in the 80s like that?
I think it was one of those things that it was definitely around. Not everybody had cardboard cutouts, but the very popular things would have cardboard cutouts. Like WWE used to have cardboard cutouts. Like in the merchandise catalog, you got Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart, like back in the New Gen era.
And then you just leave it in your room. This is where Shawn Michaels stands.
That's where he stands and watches me make holes.
He's giving me tips like this, Shawn.
Hey, if anyone's gonna know, it's gonna be the sexy boy.
Of course, you bring the ladies. Look at this. Look what I got in my room.
Like, and then we both get beat up by Marines outside the fucking place, while the British Bulldog struggles to get out of a 2-seater.
Bro, the British Bulldog getting in the 2. I understand. It's a little tight for that boy. Like, he's a big boy.
Like, why are you getting in that car in the first place?
It was probably a cool car, right? I guess, right?
I understand, but it's not so cool when you're fucking 6'2", 275 pounds. You're fucking so juiced up like you can't even straighten your arms, and now you want to get out of a fucking 2-door coupe.
How bad is it to be Shaquille O'Neal, right? It's got to be the worst. Like nothing. Everything is so small. You shower, you can't do nothing. Everything's got to be personalized. I couldn't imagine.
Well, I mean, when you're worth $1 billion, I think it's okay.
Well, eventually he got there, but he lived life for a while before he made that money, just struggling in that shower.
Well, I mean, the old stories of Andre the Giant traveling back and forth to like Japan and stuff is like horrible.
Like that's insane. Like that's just that little man. just
like they used to have to buy him like an entire row of seats. I remember there are stories like where Andre like couldn't use a bathroom, obviously on the plane. They would just have to like close the galley for him and give him a garbage bag to like take a dump, like go into Japan.
Could you imagine being on that flight and this big monster is just taking a shit in the front of the plane?
And then the bathrooms were so small. The sections of Japan are much more like Americanized or Westernized now, especially, but not especially during the 70s. So, like, a lot of times he wouldn't fit in the bathrooms. So what he would do is basically take a shit on the bed and then just roll up the sheets.
Roll up the sheets. What are we doing, Andre? What are we doing?
I mean, when you're that big, you got to make do with what you have.
I guess that's making do. Shitting on the sheets.
What do you want him to do? Just go in the hallway?
I don't know. Just we got to figure something
out the window. Like hang out the window.
Carry a bucket with him or something. I don't know. Something's gotta.
JoeMeZ, obviously, this was WrestleMania weekend. A lot of activities going on in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We had WrestleCon. We had 105 indie shows. Obviously, 2 nights of WrestleMania, a Hall of Fame, probably some NXT, some ABC, some 1132, some WD-40, everything going on in Philadelphia. And my favorite part of the whole thing is that tens of thousands of wrestling fans making their inaugural trip to the city of brotherly love found out what a terrible city Philadelphia actually is. Literally the shithole of America.
Oh man, I never walked around Philly so much. Like I realized in all our trips to Philly, we fucking got in and out. We did what we got to do. We got our cheesesteaks, went to the baseball game, went to a wrestling event, and then we got the fuck out of there. This weekend, I was in Philly, wandering the fucking neighborhood, bro. Let me tell you, it's a dump. It's a dump. Terrible, terrible town, city. It's fucking sucks.
Horrible town, horrible city, horrible agriculture,
State, the whole state.
skyscrapers, horrible people. There's a reason every public building in the city of Philadelphia has to have some kind of holding cell. It's because its citizens are savages.
I wonder how many, right? So many people, they go to WrestleMania every year. It's exciting. We're going to explore the city. We're going to find out what we do. And then they get fucking dropped off in Philadelphia. It's just like, oh, okay. We'll go by the train tracks, the abandoned warehouses. We'll go over here.
I'll tell you what, the Fresh Prince didn't leave West Philadelphia because he got in one little fight. It's because he begged his mom to leave the fucking armpit of America and just wanted to sound tougher about it. Does Will Smith really look like the type that's going to get into a fight?
I don't know. He's slapping Chris Rock, yo.
Yeah,
gangster, son.
Because he knows there's a bunch of people around.
Wow. Poor Will Smith's never coming on our show.
And because
now,
Jada probably told him to.
Oh, there goes our Bag of Vance episode.
It's okay. He hasn't even looked at my message. But JoeMeZ, you were in Philadelphia this week for all the festivities. What did you actually do while you were there?
Oh, so I was there with our good friend, Dr. Armando, and we decided we didn't want to do WrestleMania. WrestleMania was very expensive, even before the fucking Rock. Like, it was crazy. And then once the Rock started showing his face, these tickets were insane. I'm talking prices that we would spend on the trip to WrestleMania, hotel, flights, just to walk in the door. Like, this was behind the stage, up on top, fucking high-fiving Eddie Guerrero. Like, it was fucking, bro, terrible seats. Horrendous. Not going to do it. But we said Philadelphia's close enough. Let's take a drive. Let's spend a couple days there. There's plenty of shows to do. So we did some shows. Thursday night, we didn't get to do the major pod show. It was sold out, so forget it.
Sold out very quickly. And honestly, it was missing probably the best guest they've ever had. So
I wouldn't have gone anyway. No loss there. So we went to the next best thing.
And they did have Finn Balor, though.
That is cool. Finn Balor's cool. The rest of them, they're all right. Finn Balor's a cool guest. We went to WaleMania.
RJ City? No, not into RJ City.
He's okay, but I mean,
I like him.
Sure. Well, he did his Undertaker bit, right? So that's funny. That's a funny.
He did a different one.
Oh, he did a different one. Okay. So that's good. It's a good bit. So I would have enjoyed that. Who else was there? Who else? Anyone else good?
No, Dreamer.
Man. Yes, I don't get excited.
Dreamer.
I don't get. We only get excited when we see Tommy Dreamer driving on the turnpike. That's the only time we get excited.
Danhausen, probably.
He's cool, but he's around. It is. Without you there, Joe, I don't think I missed anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the point of view of most fans is this was fun, but it could have been better. Missing a little captain shoes. But I had a nice weekend on my couch, so.
Not complaining.
So you did go to WrestleMania, though, and you did see my number one very good friend, Mr. Swoggle, throw down some Nelly.
What a surprise that was. I'll tell you, we were not expecting that because there's lots of guests, but they're all a certain type of guests, right? It's a very black-centric show. We're showcasing black excellence in wrestling. Shelton Benjamin was the guest of honor. So I was like, all right, let's get some fun. And all of a sudden, this little motherfucker comes out with drink in his hand, mic in his hand, and he just starts busting out Nelly. Like, he killed it, bro. It was great. The crowd was into it. We were all just like, what is happening right now?
So Dylan Postel, who has become one of my close friends, I have learned that there is only two things that Dylan Postel knows and loves. more than his son. Number 1 is the Muppets, and number 2 is the complete discography of Nelly.
Never would have guessed that one. I love it. Muppets. I'm like, yeah, I know he loves the Muppets. Fucking Nelly. I love it. Oh, he showed off. He showed it off, bro. He killed it. It was great. The whole show was great. It's a lot of fun. It's just like a major pod show, right? They come on, they bring on guests, they do little interviews, and it's just like that. And then Wale came out at the end, very high, very intoxicated, did a couple songs, did 2 of them twice because I guess maybe he forgot he did it already, but he did it again. I'm not complaining, but it was a good time. I would definitely do it again. It was fun, right? We did 3 events. We did one every day, and every event was totally different than the other one. We got to experience a little bit of everything in WrestleMania weekend. So we had a good time. Saturday, we hit up WrestleCon. That was fun, seeing some people. I got to see Gene Snitsky walking through the hotel. I was hoping to get to meet him, maybe get a picture, maybe sign a baby, but I guess we got there too late. I don't know. I don't go to these things. I'm not really, I tag along for stuff. I'm down for a good time. Like WrestleCon, sure, let's hang out. And we got there a little too late, so most people would leave us. So that was a little sad. We didn't get to experience the full con.
I was really excited for you to get a baby signed by Gene Snitsky.
I almost missed him. Like we were walking around, and mom was like, "Gomez," and I was like, "It's Gene Snitsky." It was great. It was cool. So I got, I had a WrestleMania moment. I got to see Gene Snitsky.
That's
cool.
your WrestleMania moment, seeing Gene Snitsky walk through the Sheraton.
I finished my story.
For those of you who don't know, years ago, and this is probably 20 years ago now?
I think it is.
When Gene Snitsky debuted and did that whole angle where he punted the baby, he was supposed to be Lita's baby. Gomez thought that was the greatest thing he ever saw, and he showed up to my WrestleMania party that year. I used to go to WrestleMania parties every year where you had to cosplay as a wrestler to come in. It was a costume party. And Gomez came in as Gene Snitsky and had before she was his wife, had his girlfriend at the time come dressed as Lita, and he would take her baby and just kick it around my house.
It was good, bro. That's why I love wrestling, shit like that.
Because of punting babies.
Yes, it's so silly. Where else do you get that in entertainment, bro? You're getting all sorts of shit. Kicking babies. So good.
So Gomez had said in the lead up to WrestleCon, Gomez had said he was going to buy a baby doll and get Snitsky to sign it. And then dropped the ball.
We dropped the ball. Listen, there's other conventions. We'll have to figure it out. I will get a picture with Gene Snitsky. That will happen. It has to happen. Don't worry. We walked around the city. We did some stuff. But we ended our night with some Ring of Honor, Super Card of Honor, baby. Woo!
You guys are real big Mark Sterling fans, huh?
Listen, I've been a Ring of Honor fan from, day one. I'm into wrestling. I like, as much as I love silly shit, I do like a good wrestling match. Bryan Danielson, my favorite wrestler, he likes to wrestle. I just like wrestling. So Ring of Honor was always my shit. Been going for 20 years, been going to shows like this. So it's fun. It's pretty crazy to think that 20 years later, I'm still going to a Ring of Honor show. It's not the same, but it's still like, what is Ring of Honor? Like, this is crazy. But yeah, so Ring of Honor is not the same. It's basically AEW light. It's big production. It's in a big arena. I don't really watch Ring of Honor because it's a fucking web show. Like, who has time for that? Not me. Definitely not me. But I keep up on it. I know what's happening. And the big match of the night was Eddie Kingston defending his title against Mark Briscoe. It was 11 years to the day that his brother Jay had won the world title.
It's freaky how that works out, right?
It's pretty fucking crazy, right? So, it was a cool thing. I've always loved the Briscoe boys, being an ROH guy. I always loved them. So, it was a cool thing to see him win the belt. He did win the belt. The crowd went wild. It was a fun time. The show was okay. It wasn't great. We had a good time. It's wrestling. We're getting a little bit of everything. So that was a different crowd, right, than WrestleMania. Totally different, as you can imagine. And then we ended our WrestleMania experience on Sunday by going to Effie's Big Gay Brunch, another totally different wrestling experience. This was a lot of fun to see Effie and Allie do their bussy against Fashion Police. I don't know, do they have another name? Fandango and
Fandango. I
and
believe
Breeze.
they're Dirty Breeze now or something.
Dirty Breeze, yes, that's what they're called. They had a match. It was fucking great. It was entertaining. It's exactly what you want. Very gay centric, obviously, right? Big gay lunch, but this is what we're signing up for. It hit all the notes. The show was fun. It's a fun show. It was a GCW show, right?
Mhm.
They had a ultra violent heavyweight title match. Before the match, they're telling you, hey, if you see people coming your way, grab your shit and get the fuck out the way. You know, don't stand around. So I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. I don't know if they had like rules that they weren't allowed to do nothing, but like the high spot was they took a door, like someone took a bump through a door. There was no blood. There was no nothing. There was no violence, let alone ultra violence. And I was a little let down because you go to GCW. I want to see one little crazy match. I want to see some crazy shit. I didn't get that, but the rest of the show was fantastic. And it was a fun cap of 2-hour WrestleMania weekend. It's good times.
So you did WrestleMania weekend without the WrestleMania.
Tickets did drop.
Tickets dropped substantially once they started having a handle on just how cold it was going to be for both nights.
So we were looking, but it didn't drop. It dropped, but it was still really shit. So it's basically, do you want to spend $200 basically just to be in there because you ain't going to see nothing? You know, maybe you can walk around and get a better view, but it's just basically, do you want to spend $200 just to be in the arena? And it's like, yeah, I want to be there, but I'd rather be there for night 2 to see Cody than The Rock. But then do I got to stay in that? So it was just like, you know what? Let's just get home and enjoy it on our TVs.
Well, JoeMeZ, 2 nights of WrestleMania did happen. And on Saturday, we got a brand new person to welcome us to WrestleMania. For the very first time, it wasn't just any man in the ring. It wasn't just a Vince McMahon in the ring. It was a Triple H in the ring. It is the Triple H era now, as Paul Heyman called it.
Baby.
And he welcomed us to WrestleMania. Very, very odd to see that happen.
It is, but we got to scrub that video. We got to get a new video to start all our promos and all that video package shit. We got to get that. Can't have Vince doing the voiceover. Andre, the Giant. No more, buddy. That's gone.
You watched both nights of WrestleMania?
Yes, I did. I got home. I got home. It was the middle of the match, of the opening match. So then I rewound it, so I got the full experience. So yeah, I was on track with everyone watching the home. Yes, sir.
So I found night 1 to be, I guess, underwhelming is the nice way to say it. I really just didn't think it was a good night of wrestling at all. To me, it felt like a lot of filler. It felt like just some kind of generic in-your-house pay-per-view. Certainly did not feel like a WrestleMania. I thought Rhea versus Becky was pretty good. Outside of that, I really didn't enjoy anything the entire night, and that includes the main event.
I think that's maybe not the general consensus, but I hear a lot of that. That's mostly what I'm hearing is people agreeing with you, saying night 1, not great. The show didn't have a good flow. The matches weren't really good. The main event was way too long. They could have did that in fucking 25, 30 minutes. They did not.
The main event was a legitimate 44 minutes and change bell to bell.
That's too much. That's too much. That's too long.
Listen, I appreciate the guys putting in that time.
Yes. Yeah, I get it. Sure.
You know, and The Rock is 51 years old and hasn't had like a real match.
The Rock fucking killed it. He did amazing.
We could always take shots at The Rock. I mean, there's probably always something to take a shot at The Rock.
We always do.
And you and I always do. But he showed up. He looked great.
He praised this week, 100%.
He
looked great.
Came
Slimmed down. Look, yeah. I was like, oh, look, The Rock's. I was like, I got excited. I was like, oh, The Rock fucking slimmed down. He looks great. Perfect.
But to me, that match was just
way too long.
Way too much. Way too long. The
same story in 25 minutes.
100%.
Yes, it didn't need to be that long. But, you know, The Rock, I guess, just wanted that big, dramatic, long match. I don't know.
You know, when you do these 2 nights of WrestleMania, and this is basically my complaint, is now we've stretched it to 2 nights. And it's never going back. When you're drawing
No, it's
75,000 people a
Yes.
night, you're not going
Yes.
back to one night. But when you do this, you're going to have so much filler, because even before they did this, when they were doing 7-hour one night WrestleManias, they felt the need that like get as many people on the show as possible, which I don't like. I've never liked. I don't want that. And I think the 2 nights of WrestleMania is too much. I think it takes away from what makes WrestleMania special. And night 1 felt like just a lot of filler, a lot of matches that wouldn't have been on the show under normal circumstances. And then even when you do give us something like Rey Mysterio and Andrade against Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom, you do this run-in with, oh my God, it's Philadelphia Eagles legend Jason Kelce and some other guy who plays for the Eagles.
Yes. The Eagle fans got it, but there's not only Eagle fans watching. We're all like, I guess that's another guy. But yeah, apparently he's a famous, like, you know, he's big with the fans, like the other guy. I don't remember his name. Clearly, it didn't.
Lane Johnson.
There you go. Yes. He's a big deal, apparently.
Well, I just assumed if you're going to do it, you're getting both Kelseys.
I thought, yes, but it was way too big. I was like, he ain't, Travis ain't that big. I was like, whatever. But he's cool. Jason is a big fan, apparently. He loves wrestling legit. And, you know, good for him.
But
he got to
even,
be on WrestleMania.
even the way they did it was really fucking terrible. Like the match is just going on and it's like, it is what it is. And just 2 big dudes in Eagles color lucha masks jump the rail and just interfere on behalf of the good guys. And it's like, don't know why, don't know how. It's not like they were incited by the heels or anything.
Yeah.
Just, nope. Jumping the rails, guys. Also, Sami Zayn versus Gunther. We have to end all our long title reigns finally. Gunther finally loses the Intercontinental title. I know I've seen people put this match over. I absolutely hated it.
Yeah, you're alone in that one. This is everyone's favorite or second favorite. Like this is their, especially for night 1. This is most people's favorite. There.
No, I think it was the shits. I think the pre-match segment with Sammy and his wife and his kid was fucking horrible.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Why that was written in. Now, it could just be me, but Sami Zayn, under whatever incarnation he is portraying at the time, has been wrestling for 20 years. So that would mean for the entirety of his kid's life, he has been a professional wrestler. And I assume that at some point before Saturday, this child has seen their father be a professional wrestler, whether on TV, whether in person, wherever, somewhere, this child has watched their father at work. And then we want to act like, oh, I don't want him watching this. I don't know what's going to happen. You're going to get fucking chopped by Gunther. We've all seen a Gunther match before at this point. We know what the fuck is going to happen. He's going to chop you. He's not going to murder you. That would be illegal. So I don't know what you're so fucking worried about that your kid hasn't seen before, that now you got, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then you don't fucking do anything to ever show that there's this great danger. You have a fucking regular ass wrestling match at WrestleMania. What the fuck are we thinking here? Like a couple weeks ago when we said the scene at the end of the Ghostbusters movie where the girl calls Paul Rudd dad was completely unearned. This segment was completely stupid, idiotic, pathetic, horrible, trying to draw out emotions that don't fucking need to be drawn on because you haven't fucking put in the work for it. Oh my God, I don't want him watching this. Then get out of the fucking business.
But
if we're going to get worried about, oh, I don't want him watching this, then fucking stop wrestling. Go become a fucking accountant.
Goodness.
I found night 1 to be very underwhelming. It left a horrible taste in my mouth. The main event, the tag match, Cody and Seth versus Rock and Roman, very, very convoluted, unnecessarily so. Like we said, way too long. Could have told the same story by cutting the time a little bit. Just left a really bad taste in my mouth, to the point where I'm like, if there's one thing I don't want, it's more wrestling at this point.
I get it. That's the problem with the 2 nights WrestleMania, right? Like I was talking in Philly when we're talking, hanging out, and I'm like, what makes a good WrestleMania now, right? How many matches? Well, you got 2 nights. Do both nights have to be good? Does half a show,
Absolutely.
like, but that sucks now because like that's what I mean. So like we're never gonna have a great WrestleMania ever again then.
Impossible.
Having 2 banger nights is gonna be really hard.
Because now, in the aftermath of everything, I've seen people who are like, this is the best WrestleMania, and I've been a
In a long
fan
time,
for
yeah.
30 years. And I'm like, no, it's not, because the first night still counts.
I know, but that's the thing, because that is the discussion, because we move on to night 2, which was leaps and bounds better. A general consensus again, everyone agrees.
Complete
This was
180
so
from the night
much
before.
better. The night flowed better, the matches were better, everything was just better here.
It felt like WrestleMania. It felt like you were watching a special night. Night 1 did not. And I don't want to pin this completely on the crowd. I know it was cold. I know it's an open air stadium.
Yes.
But night 1, that crowd was
crowd.
basically MIA. And when
they're
you're
trying to
watching
say-
wrestling,
yeah.
we might as well have been watching from the Thunderdome or something again.
No, yeah, they're trying to blame it on the weather, that everyone was just a little too cold. I get it, but this is their problem. Why are you going to Philadelphia in April, bro? It's cold. Like it was. You got
Go to Tampa, go to Vegas, go to an indoor dome. We still don't know where we're going next year because they haven't announced that officially.
Supposedly Minnesota, which could be very cold. At least there's a dome
but
there.
It's indoor dome, so
but at
whatever.
least it's indoors. But like, stop picking these cold places, bro. Get out of here.
When it's cold and rainy at MetLife Stadium, no one wants to be there.
Yeah, no one. You don't want to be there for a Jet game, let alone 7 hours of WrestleMania. That killed a lot of people that night.
Oh yeah. But we opened night 2 with Seth and Drew. Seth Rollins, what can you say? He's like the worker right now.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is the guy who works with the guys.
Yes.
I don't necessarily know that he's a top guy, but he's the guy you put with the guy you want to get over or the angle you need to get over. He's like the new Jake the Snake in that way.
Yeah, Jake the Snake, Mr. Pearl, all those guys who are like right there, whenever you need a strong contender, a strong challenger, he's there. And he's good. He's great at what he does. His character's not great. It's wacky. I'm just a crazy, I dress weird and everything. But when it's time to go in the ring, it's good. This match was good. It wasn't as good as I thought I would get a different match. Like it was very it was like a Brock Lesnar match where everyone's just hitting big move. Like it wasn't really like a built up regular match. So I was a little disappointed there, but it was still good. I'm a big Drew McIntyre fan. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was a very solid opener. I'm not necessarily like an all-time classic match by any means. I figured
a little better from the two of them.
But I thought a perfectly fine opener, got you into it, got you into your seat, gave you the feel of what you were supposed to be watching. So I got no complaints with that. No. And then I thought the way they set up the Money in the Bank cash-in from Damian Priest was well done as well.
Yes, that was the hot rumor. Everyone thought maybe with Punk being out there, we would get some. If it wasn't Drew, it could have been Seth at the same time because he's feuding with both of them. So it could have worked either way, where he screws one of them out of the title to have this guy finally cash in. And he did. Baby, our first Boricua champion in 50 years. Oh, my goodness, baby. Crazy.
It's funny that I shouldn't say it's funny. It's a little absurd almost. Like
you just think it would happen, right? Like
you just think it would happen at some point.
Like it just would happen, but it never did. It's so crazy. But so that's good.
But once again, is he like the real champion?
No, of course not. He's the Raw champion, SmackDown.
This is the World Heavyweight title, so they're calling him the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes, he's the World Heavyweight Champion.
But then the belt everyone cares about is in the main event that night. So
yes, I know. That's all right. That's what they do. In 10 years, it'll just be another title like anything else.
Then Triple H at the press conference afterwards, the media scrum, whatever we want to call it, he made a comment about, when you create a new belt, you have to have a buy-in from someone, and I knew I just needed to give it to Seth Rollins and let him go to work. And I'm like, yeah, just like when you nominated yourself for World Heavyweight Champion in 2003 or whatever it was.
But that's why he justifies it, because he knows he could count on himself to do the work, Joe. You see?
He couldn't.
I always liked him. He just
We had this 6-man tag match. Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain against Lashley and the Street Profits. And listen, I understand not every match can be a banger. We had Bubba Ray Dudley come out here as the special guest. But this was like the popcorn match, somehow in the number 2 spot on the card.
A little early for the popcorn match, yes.
One thing I was shocked about was Paul Ellering obviously comes with these guys, and this was his first WrestleMania. Like, never even with the LOD did he work a WrestleMania.
That's wild. But if you think about it, he was mostly,
make sense.
NWA, yeah.
Even the times where he was going against the LOD, he was with the Disciples of Apocalypse. Like, they weren't necessarily getting WrestleMania matches,
Oh, Disciples. DOA, baby.
When he was Mr. .com. Remember that jacket?
Holy shit. Wow.
My match of the weekend for WrestleMania nights, Io Sky and Bayley for the WWE Women's title. Great match. I thought it was the best match between both nights.
Yeah, no, it was great. I would agree. It's definitely up there. I would say it's the best.
Now, let's get to the big one, the one we all came to talk about. The very controversial Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes match.
Oh,
now, JoeMeZ, you wanted this match. You said it had to be this match, right?
Yes. I was exactly how I wanted it, everything. Last year, they gave us pretty much a straightforward wrestling match. Obviously, it was a fuck finish. That's Roman Reigns. But for the most part, it was just 2 guys just wrestling. This year, I wanted the bullshit. I compared it when I brought it up. I said I wanted to be like WrestleMania XL, where Rock and Austin, they gave us the regular match the year before, or 2 years, right?
2 years before,
15.
But that was before. See, it's different because Rock wasn't really Rock yet at that point. He was close.
Yes.
Austin was Austin. Rock wasn't quite Rock yet.
No.
Yeah.
17 was the
X7. That's
wacky bullshit all over. They're fighting all over. Run like it's the finish is he beats the shit out of him with a chair that Vince McMahon hands him. Like I wanted that. I said that's what I want because that match is awesome. It's bullshit, but fucking love that match, love that pay-per-view. So I wanted that type of shit. I want all the rumors. I say, yes, give me that Avengers bullshit. I want all this shit to come true. Give me everybody. Bring them up from the dead. Dig them up. I want them all. Come on.
This match is a fucking cartoon episode of a wrestling match. Yeah. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It was entertaining as hell. Because even me is sitting at home going, when you have the Solo Sikoa and then the 2 Usos and the 2 Usos who had an absolutely awful match on night 1.
Horrendous, bro. What a terrible fucking match.
That little spot that they did during the main event at night 2 was 150 times better than anything they did to each other on night 1.
Yes, it was perfect.
And then we get Cena and Rock and Seth, and I was hoping it was going to be Stone Cold.
Come on, bro. So I said all weekend, I said, I can't wait to see The Rock take that stunt. It's been so long. I want to see him do his stupid flip bullshit. He takes it so terrible. I hate the way he takes it. It's too much, but I love it. Please keep doing it. And I was so looking forward to that fucking glass breaking, fucking 70,000 people losing their shit and seeing that. Oh, it was very disappointing that still we got some gongs. Come on, bro.
And I know a lot of people like The Undertaker.
People love The Undertaker. I got no problem with The Undertaker. Just in this moment, I
don't associate him
I think of
with
Austin
The Rock.
And The Rock. Exactly. Undertaker, I get it. He's from that era, and they've had plenty of matches, good matches. But I don't think of the two. So I'm waiting for the glass to break. The gong happens. all right. Obviously, people pop, whatever. It was a good moment. It's still a good moment, but a little disappointed. That's all.
Now, this is a question for like real Cody fans, but
She ain't here.
I had the question where if you're a Cody fan and this is how he finally wins the belt, it's not like he's had the belt before, it's his first time getting the belt. So are you okay with it coming after all of the Roadrunner and Coyote bullshit?
I'm not a Cody fan, but I'm going to say this. I don't think anyone should have a problem because all those run-ins, not one person helped Cody Rhodes win that match. They stopped the outside interference that was fucking him over. Cody won the match on his own. Once it was an even playing field, he won fair and square. So I think it works.
I just look at it as what's going to be remembered from this match. And people are going to say, oh, Cody finished the story. But you're going to say, oh, remember when Cena came out and Undertaker and Rock? And that's what you're going to remember is that confluence of bullshit that happened during the match, which I think is going to kind of overtake as history goes on. It's going to be remembered in a larger way than Cody actually winning the match.
It's going to be remembered as the end of Roman Reigns' run, the end of the bloodline, because Cody will be fucking champion 15 times, And so the first one will matter, but it won't matter as much. You know what I mean? Like how many times are we showing Austin beating HBK? It's not really something we see a lot. We see like the Tyson punch,
I think, yeah, I mean, but at least the Tyson punch happened after the match.
No, I'm just saying, but that's something that's remembered. You don't really see the Stone Cold, like that's not, we show other Stone Cold moments.
But it's a big moment though. And we get it in highlights quite often with the Jim Ross call, like the Austin era has begun, and that was really the flashpoint for what became the Attitude Era, and I think they not that this could have become that flashpoint because I feel like that whatever the flashpoint was, and I can't pinpoint it to a single moment, but with the way their business is right now, they're like already there in the middle of it. Once Austin won the title, it brought things to a new level. They're already there right now. So it's not like with Cody winning the belt, I don't think is suddenly going to boost business because they're already selling out their TVs. I'm sure when all the numbers are in for this WrestleMania, and Triple H spoke about it in the media scrum as well, biggest WrestleMania of all time, obviously, biggest merch of all time, biggest sponsors of all time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like we're already there in the middle of it. So the thing is how much higher do you go?
No, I think now it's just keeping level. As much as we hated it last year, Cody losing was obviously the best thing for business, right? It worked out in the end.
So, and that was going to be my next question to you. With the way things have played out in this past year, do you feel better about last year knowing what happened this year now?
I still hate it. I still think if The Rock doesn't come back, we don't have as much juice as we did. Like it's still going to be a very big WrestleMania, but The Rock obviously gave it some extra juice. But I'll say what did happen after the loss is Roman Reigns was gone for pretty much the whole year. That motherfucker took the whole year off. And it was the Cody show. And Cody built on that. People, events were selling out. The ratings were going up. So kind of like that loss, what they wanted to happen where we rallied behind Cody, it worked. He became an even bigger star. And he was pretty popular last year. And now he's on like another level. I don't get I'm not a Cody guy. So it's all crazy to me to see how this guy is so popular, but he's fucking popular, bro. And it's like, here we go. I want to see what happens next. Like, how long can he maintain this level?
I mean, you and I both said, not necessarily a Cody fan. I think he does a lot of things good.
He's good. Yes, everything.
I'm never blown away.
Yes,
by anything.
Good promo, either. Good matches. I'm not
everything. Like, yeah, it's solid. Yeah, it's solid. Yeah, it's solid. But I never walk away going, "Wow, fucking Cody really."
What a banger! Ooh.
But I will say what I think he does exceptionally is I think he is a spectacular face for the company, public face for the
Oh,
company.
unbelievable. Like they
Uh,
struck a gold mine. This is the new Cena, bro.
Whenever you listen to him speak, whenever he's out there on social media or meeting fans or doing any of this stuff, he has a way. And listen, I don't know Cody. I've never met Cody. Obviously, we have a lot of friends in common, but he has a way of making it seem genuine. It doesn't seem put on. It doesn't seem like he's just for show in the way that other people who have done the same things have made it seem before.
Yes.
So this is the type of person you want representing your company. Whenever he does these media scrums, he fucking kills it, man.
Always knows what to
And
say. Always has the right answer.
always
It's
has the
crazy.
right answer.
It's so crazy.
So I don't know what kind of media training he's been through or what, but he's been
He
incredible
just
for
gets
that
it.
kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
It's just the truth. So I'm excited to see. I don't think we're gonna see Roman Reigns for a while now. Maybe towards the end of the year. I don't see him coming back for SummerSlam or anything like that. Maybe we get The Rock. You know, Cody did take the pin. Rock pinned Cody in night one. Obviously, they did that for a reason. You know, could have had just Roman do it to set up for the night, but they gave it to The Rock. I would think maybe SummerSlam, one of these Saudi shows, something. I would think The Rock is coming back for Cody.
So did you know that Cody Rhodes also beat Roman Reigns and took his first title off of him as well?
Really?
Back when Roman and I believe it was Seth were tag champs in the Shield, they
Yeah.
were defeated by Cody and Goldust, and Cody pinned
Oh,
Roman.
love it. Look at this. Cody killing people, bro. Oh my goodness.
You know, and people like to complain about the WWE's long-term storytelling. And one of the biggest things here was the role Seth Rollins played in this match, where he came out
Oh,
as the Shield,
incredible.
and
Yes.
he had said to Cody, like, "I'll be the one who shields you from whatever," you know. And he comes out in the Shield gear, and then Roman, in his hubris,
Yes.
it's more important to him in the moment to settle up a 10-year-old grudge than it was to, you know. So it's stuff
Love it.
like that,
Amazing.
and that's
Yeah.
not
Little
something I
detail.
realized on my own. That's stuff I've seen posted
Yeah.
around social media and other places. But it's stuff like that where you go, wow, if anything, it's a wonderful callback. And for Seth Rollins, like I said, he's the guy who works with the guy. On paper, you look at it, and I even tweeted this. I go, wow, Seth Rollins has had a really bad weekend.
What a terrible weekend, bro.
You know, look,
Shitty weekend.
he lost 2 matches. He got his ass kicked by Roman Reigns in that piece in the main event. But
Big
what a
time loser.
valuable guy to have on your roster who can just fill all these holes and do it in a very, very productive fashion.
I feel like things took a turn when they decided to do this bloodline, right? WWE was not good in those mid to 2010s there, right? They were just, it was not a good time. And I think it was 18, 19. They started the Roman Reigns stuff, turned him heel. And that's when they really also started building up a long-term storyline where they started dropping hints and callbacks. Because, like you said, before then, right, it'd be Vince McMahon. You hear him, oh, we're ripping up the script right before the show. Every week, we're ripping up the script, new ideas, and it finally happened where, you know, he got some less power and things. It was good. God bless Roman.
So before we go, Gomez, let's hit the music.
Oh, baby.
Are you a man? A double main man? Are you a man? A triple main man? A man? A quadruple main man? Are you our man? Are you our man?
All right, Joe. Main man stand-ins for WrestleMania?
Yeah.
This is fun. How you want to do it? As an overall? You do
As
it
an overall, because it's WrestleMania 40.
All right. So overall, where does WrestleMania 40 land on your main man stand-ins?
Like I said, night 1 counts. So it loses a lot of points, but night 2 was very, very entertaining. Night 2 felt the way a WrestleMania should feel. It had that big night buzz about it. crowd was much more into it on night 2. And I don't know if after night 1 they went and threw like a couple extra 100 mics out in the crowd. I don't know what it was.
Great crowd.
But the crowd was so much more into it on night 2, whether that was just the way they were, the audio was done, or whether the crowd just knew how to dress for the second night as opposed to the first night.
I heard the night was it was like a 10-degree difference.
It's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
For
Being in the 50s
50 is
the
a big
40s.
difference.
Yeah. 45, 55, big difference. So I think that, I guess it did have a factor in it, the weather.
So overall, I'm going, it has to count. So overall, I'm going to go triple main man, 3 stars.
I'll go 3.5 just because this was the main event is an all-timer main event story finishing
spectacle
yes,
of an event.
100%. Like that is an all-timer. You know, if you think about how WrestleManias end, they don't know, like, not that the heel always wins, but even when the babyface wins, it's not like this. This was something different. This was something that we won't get again for a while, I bet. So it was awesome.
It seems to be an every 10-year thing, and we brought this up when we were watching it because we were watching on Zoom all together, all of our friends who have been watching WrestleManias, probably going back into the teens, which makes you feel very old when you say it out loud.
Very old that you said that. Holy shit, bro!
But when you think about the way the endings for WrestleMania 10, 20, 30, 40. It's been these conquering hero finally climbing the mountain moments. Great. And I don't think that's necessarily done on purpose. It just happens to be the way these people or these talents find a way to get themselves over in the moment and are able to give us a story to build into for these WrestleManias. But could be another 10 years before we see something similar to this again.
I love it. Love it. Good times. WrestleMania 40 is a good one. Like I said, more good than bad. I think we'll be remembering. We'll forget all the bad stuff and we'll just.
We normally will always remember the good stuff and kind of amplify it up in our mind. Yeah. The highs were very high, but the lows were also very low.
The lows were very low, 100%. We will not forget the Uso match because that's supposed to be a big deal. Boy, did they shit the bed. I don't know what happened with those boys.
Because these guys,
it's their dream,
really,
like this.
Yeah, right.
Like
during this entire storyline, it's not just the bloodline story. It's the dichotomy between the brothers here who brought so much to that story over the past couple of years. And when they finally have, and they both had their fair share of big moments throughout these past 5 years. Probably one of the better teams of all time. You know, when we move even 10 years further down the road and we start looking back, you know, it's hard to judge in the moment as it's happening right in front of you. But 10 years from now, 15 years from now, we may look back and go, yo, the Usos are legitimately a top 5 tag team of all time.
But you're not saying that already? I mean, they're the longest reigning. Like
you need
I think they
time
have to be
and
in that
hindsight.
discussion already.
I think they are, but you really need time to really kind of put it in perspective. I think it's very hard to do in the moment. Like I could tell you Mike Trout is an all-time great baseball player, but I'm not going to know how great until a couple of years down the road where I have more perspective on it and be like, okay, you know, like, yeah, like it was good to appreciate that greatness in the moment. I'm glad I got to live through it and see it. Tom Brady, same thing. But Tom Brady was on such a different level.
Yes.
You know, there was such a discrepancy between him and number 2. Even Peyton Manning, as great as he was, he's not a winner like Tom Brady.
No, he's not. So
with the Usos, I think this is one of those things where we know we're seeing one of the better acts, definitely of the generation, definitely of the era. But when it comes to putting them in historical context, I think it's going to take a couple of years to really be able to do it fairly.
So let's wrap up with this. In the same vein, where do you think Roman Reigns with this title reign? What do you think now this puts him up on this list here?
I mean, on just days and impact and the way it changed the business, it's wildly impressive, right?
Right, it completely changed his career. Like all we talked about was how, man, what a waste. Like he's good, but he could be so much better. And then it just clicked. And he's been I don't even know, incredible is probably underselling it. He's been just ridiculous with what he's done in this thing. And all of a sudden, you know, you're talking about the greats. You got to bring up Roman Reigns now, which is something we didn't think about 5 years ago.
Yeah, he was the guy who was being pushed down our throat that no one wanted to see.
Never clicked, never. Let's try again. Let's try again.
And when they said it during the commentary of WrestleMania, and he tied Hogan for the record for most WrestleMania 9 WrestleMania main events.
Crazy.
And he's not done.
No.
You know, like Cena doesn't have 9. And to me, in my head, Cena had this
every year
incredible
main event
run. You know what I mean?
He opened the show a lot.
Yeah, it's wild. To me, Cena's the number 1 of all time. But when you think about it, this Roman Reigns run, at the length of it, the context of it, the way it brought business back up, as much as I want to say no one's watching wrestling because of the ratings, the fact is the world is a niche now. So people are watching in greater numbers. It's just that the potential audience isn't what it used to be because we've split them in so many different slices of the pizza pie here. But people are watching wrestling. People are talking about it. People are buying tickets. They're selling out houses. They're selling out merch. It's incredible. And a lot of that goes on the shoulders of Roman Reigns. When you're the top guy, you're the top guy for the entire business, not just the WWE. So you see AEW being able to make money and being able to make a go of being a real number 2 company because there's interest in wrestling. You see these independent companies like GCW who are running 5 separate shows during WrestleMania weekend, selling out everyone.
3 in one night.
between a Josh Barnett Bloodsport, between a clusterfuck battle royal, between a big gay brunch, all different themes, all different types of characters and performers from all over the world.
So crazy.
And a lot of that is because of the way Roman Reigns was able to elevate this business.
God damn. Acknowledge.
JoeMeZ, there was a new drop on the Peacock network sticking with wrestling. Like I said, this is going to be a wall-to-wall wrestling episode. New documentary, Bray Wyatt Becoming Immortal on the Peacock network. A true story behind one of the most revered and mysterious characters in WWE history and the man himself, Wyndham Rotunda, that has never been documented until now. And this is narrated by The Undertaker and is really a talk with the people who were closest to Bray Wyatt and features some interviews that have never before been seen with Bray Wyatt, and Luke Harper has an interview in there, and a lot of other people who were close to him, including obviously his brother Taylor, Bo Dallas, and a very close friend of his who's also the guy who makes the masks and stuff, the lanterns for The Fiend and the character of Bray Wyatt, Jason Baker, who I just recently did Toy Hi-Yo with. So he plays a prominent role in this documentary as well. It's a 2-hour documentary. So get comfy if you're going to watch it. It's very, very good.
I do want to see. I didn't get to squeeze it in because obviously I wasn't home for most of the week. But you know, I like Bray Wyatt. I was always interested in his character, right? He had this character where it was awesome until the bell rang, and then it's like all the spooky shit. Like it's like I ain't got to work a match, but all that spooky shit before, I fucking ate it up.
When it came to the Fiend,
yes, Bray Wyatt as the hillbilly,
the rocking chair, Waylon Mercy,
that was good. Yes, and they had good matches. Yes,
when I first saw that character and with the Wyatt family, and
so good.
it was so different, and it almost felt like it didn't fit in the way WWE was at that time. And now when you think about it, and with the way wrestling is like right now in this moment, I don't mean like the past couple of years, I mean right now, with Triple H in charge, it almost feels like this would be his time, right?
Yeah, it's a little early.
Because even looking back at this documentary, you're going, there is no fucking way 75-year-old Vince McMahon understood any of this Bray Wyatt shit.
Hell no, bro. He's like, oh, I guess he's spooky or something. I don't like. There's no way. No, it's Firefly Funhouse doing a kid show, spooky kid show thing. What? Come on.
And that
There's no
stuff,
way.
when you had put up some of it for the Sweaty Men in Tights marathon that you had over at twitch.tv/mezmovie this weekend,
Yes, sir.
that stuff is just, especially for wrestling, it's not the kind of stuff you're used to. It's so outside the box of what we normally get in character development in professional wrestling. And it's so fucking good, man.
He's good to be missed. It's a very sad story. It's rough.
So I think this, if you haven't watched it already, like I said, it is barely over 2 hours. I thought it was excellent, man. It'll hit you right in the feels. It definitely has you getting emotional. And it talks about the actual person. It's not just about the wrestler. It's about the actual person, what he was like behind the scenes. And this, once again, someone I've never met. We have a lot of mutual friends, people who are very close to him, who I'm very close to. When he passed away, everyone was hurting. It's not a work.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a gimmick.
Oh, no, yeah.
People were genuinely heartbroken over this guy. I've never heard a bad word about the guy. And I mean that. So when you're seeing this documentary and you're seeing the people who they got to be involved in it give their real testimonials, like me as someone who is loosely connected, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon away, you know, like it hurts me knowing how much my friends were hurting over losing their friend. I know what it's like to lose people who are close to you. So it doesn't make it easier when people you care about are going through the same thing. So it'll definitely get you emotional. It's very well worth the watch.
I'll definitely check that out. 100%. Watch anything else? Any other wrestling related content, Joseph?
Our movie of the week, JoeMeZ.
Ooh.
The year is 1999, and we are getting the film Vince McMahon doesn't want you to see.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yes.
The film is called Beyond the Mat. It is a documentary by Barry Blaustein that simply asks the question, what are these wrestler guys like in real life?
Sure, it's exactly what it is, yeah.
And that he goes about trying to find out what some of his favorite wrestlers are like in real life. Barry Blaustein is a filmmaker who went to a wrestling show as a child with his dad. Afterwards, as they're outside the building, he sees a heel wrestler getting into a car, kissing his wife hello, and driving off. And in the moment, he goes, wait a minute, how can that guy have a family? Like, who could love that guy? Because he's so bad. He's such an evil guy.
It's true.
Who would possibly love that guy? So now he's got a little prestige to him. He gets a little bit of money where he can go ahead and make this documentary. And he gets a lot of WWE involvement and WWE access because at the time, it was supposed to be an independent documentary. It wasn't going to be released. But in the time that it took to film this thing, it's filmed over the course of about 4 years or so. Wrestling all of a sudden gets really, really hot in the Attitude Era. So now production people everywhere are looking for more wrestling content. And this does end up getting a theatrical release, a small one, but it does end up hitting theaters.
Yeah.
And because of that, Vince McMahon busts a gasket and says, you have the potential to make a ton of money right now, and we weren't being paid, and this wasn't the deal we signed up for, and now you either pay us or we want nothing to do with it. So because WWE wasn't getting paid, Vince went to the network, had them pull any kind of advertising, any kind of commercials, and he refused to acknowledge that this documentary even existed. So the people behind the film branded it with the tagline of the film Vince McMahon doesn't want you to see.
So funny. This guy was filming peak WWE content. That Mankind match, like that's top fucking, like that's some shit.
You know, but even the Terry Funk footage is 2 years before that.
Yeah, but that's big too. ECW,
It's
the
barely legal.
pay-per-view.
1997, the first ever ECW
Yeah,
pay-per-view.
that's a
We
big
get that
deal.
famous Paul Heyman speech that we probably wouldn't have documented anywhere if not for Beyond the Mat. Because
Sure.
God knows ECW didn't own any cameras.
ECW fan cam.
Yeah, it would be like Doug Gentry behind the scenes, getting ready to put it in an RF video catalog.
Oh man.
IMDb gives this movie a 7.6. Rotten Tomatoes an 82% fresh with an audience score of 83% fresh.
Oh, okay. People loving it.
Now, I actually saw this movie in theaters when it came out. I got a small theater in Midtown Manhattan to go to with my friends, like Gomez's buddy, Dr. Armando. We went to see it together back when we were young bucks, just in love with wrestling. Not the real young bucks. It's not like we're showing some special footage on Wednesday nights.
Don't even fucking get me started on that bullshit.
But we were able to check this movie out in theaters, and by the time it comes out, we are at wrestling hype peak. The Attitude Era is in full effect. Everybody everywhere is wearing wrestling t-shirts. You can't go anywhere without seeing NWO or DX or Austin 316. It's film fate. It just happens to come out when the time is perfect for this.
Yes, I didn't see this until it was out on VHS or DVD because it was a small release. There was times where I would run to the city to see a movie, whatever. I didn't get to see it, but it was something I was looking forward to because the commercials. Vince McMahon doesn't want me to see this. What? It's got Mankind and Terry Funk. What the hell is this? Like, this was crazy.
Now, I don't think the appeal at this point would have been like some kind of expose on wrestling, right? One of these behind the scenes, the things you shouldn't know about wrestling. But that's not what this movie is, and that's not what this movie was trying to be. And we had I think it was a A&E channel or something had done one of those things like Wrestling Secrets Revealed, and it was like Harley Race or whoever,
the angry granny in the crowd,
and stuff like that, which anything wrestling was drawing ratings at the time. So even like A&E did an Andre the Giant biography around that time. We got the Wrestling with Shadows documentary. Once again, they happen to be filming when a very historical moment.
It's so crazy how that works out, bro. Because yes, imagine we would be so lost. Like, what the fuck happened that night? Now we know exactly. It's so crazy, bro.
So this movie comes out, and the appeal is seeing Mankind, especially because he's such a star at the time. He's a main event guy by the time this film comes out, is seeing like the real him. And I think a lot of the success that he's had in his career can be attributed to this film because it made you look behind the mask and see him as a real guy. And he's very likable and he's very engaging and he seems like a good dad, not a perfect dad. He still makes mistakes, but he's very relatable. And he seems like a guy who could be your neighbor down the block or the guy you see at the grocery store or the guy that, will help you out. Like, hey man, can I borrow your weed whacker or whatever? Like, yeah, buddy, go ahead. And after that, he writes his book and he gets his beefaroni commercial. And it seems like it's right in the middle of when all these things start happening. And he goes from being a psychotic, evil, mind-warped villain to being this lovable, affable Mrs. Foley's baby boy character.
Yes, that's true. He was the crazy, oh my goodness. That's true.
We also get the Terry Funk story as the washed up, kind of on his way down veteran. We get
his retirement.
Yeah, one of his retirements. We get the up and comer as Droz. We start following Darren Drozdov here. Now, originally, Barry Blaustein had wanted Adam Copeland, Edge, to be in the role of the up and comer.
Wow.
But
that's crazy. Imagine.
Yeah, he was very uncomfortable with being on camera like that so early in his career. So he chose not to do it. The next person considered was Matt Bloom, who we know as Prince Albert.
Albert, okay.
But they end up settling on Droz because he just comes off so much better on camera. which I think
he's very likable. Yes, he's
Yeah.
good on the camera. Yes,
and Droz died semi-recently, last year.
right in the past
Yeah.
year. Crazy.
So that sucks. I was at the show at the Nassau Coliseum where he got injured in the match with D'Lo. That was that sucks, obviously.
Yeah.
Everyone seemed to love Droz too. That was another guy where like just everyone loved. We also get in this movie, and at the time, I remember thinking, holy shit, like that's fucked up. Now, 25 years after the fact, it's even more fucked up. Is the backstory of Jake the Snake Roberts and his dad, Grizzly Smith.
Yeah.
And Grizzly Smith is a old generation wrestler, gruff, never loved his son, whatever. But Jake tells the story in Beyond the Mat where his mom was 13 when she had him. And it was because Jake's dad raped her while she was sleeping. He was actually dating her mother. And then over these years that have passed, there have been many, many stories about Grizzly Smith and young girls. And they are fucking horrid. And what's very weird to see in this movie, and I don't know whether it was just the time or so different, like it's hard to think that 25 years ago is this different than today. But Jake tells the story so matter-of-factly as him and his dad are raking leaves in the backyard. If I would know this about my dad, I would hate my dad. And it's just like so accepted. And the movie presents it in such a matter-of-fact way where it's just like, here's page 3.
It's a throwaway line. It's just like, yeah, and then it's like right on to the next day. Like, just keep it moving. It's like, yep, it's pretty wild. It's like, what the fuck?
And he's there in the movie, and he interviews Grizzly Smith in the movie, and we're like, this is a fucking pedophile. This is a rapist. This is a horrible human being, and we're just like putting him out there for people to see. And it's like not being judged or not being anything, like just given time, like he's a regular person, and he's not. He's evil. And that, watching it back this week, man, that's what fucking got me about this movie.
Crazy. It is. It's just the Jake the Snake portion. It's so weird. His relationship with his daughter, the way he's acted, and then Jake ran off and smoked crack in the hotel. It's like, oh Jesus, okay.
Yeah. We booked Jake. We sent him his deposit, but then a day before, he outright called and told us he's not coming unless we get him some crack.
Sorry, I guess we're getting Jake some crack, bro. Like, that's some phone calls. Oh man. And then the other portion is the indie guys. Oh baby, Mike
Modest and Tony Jones. This movie, one of the lasting contributions it's had to the wrestling world is for the people of my generation in the business. This is a movie that we have referenced, and will continue to reference until the day we die. Like I got a call this weekend saying, "Hey, Shoes, you up here in Philadelphia this weekend?" I said, "Nah, man, I'm home on the trampoline." And that's just the way we talk to each other sometimes. Okay. And people know what it means, I don't do any tricks. I just jump. So it's stuff like that. It's the Tony Jones thing where Jim Ross is talking to him saying, you may want to get some gear that's a little more complimentary, work on your arms and shoulders. It's an upper body business.
You say it all the time. It's an upper body business.
Upper body business, pal. Modest does go on to wrestle in WCW a little bit near the end.
He gets a little bit, yeah.
And I want to say he probably did a couple tours of Japan, but really never did anything where he really broke out, even as an indie guy. When the indies started getting hot by the end, like 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, the indies were hot. The indies were drawing. You were getting big tournaments happening all over the country. I want to say it was APW actually out there in California that did a King of the Indies tournament in like 2001 with guys like Scoot Andrews and Loki and American Dragon and those guys who were really big at the time. And Nick Bockwinkel was there as like a, Grand Marshal or something.
Sure.
I'm a big Bockwinkel guy. I love watching Bockwinkel's AWA stuff. Like I really enjoy his work. But at that time, Nick probably would have been 70. But Modest never had like the breakout that I think people would have expected. He was in a weird spot. He was, especially for the time, he was too big to be a cruiserweight. And they say this in the movie too. Too big to be a cruiserweight, but too small to be a heavyweight. He was in this weird in-between.
That sucks,
and really didn't have enough of a character to really go on just be something else.
I think his biggest contribution is everybody stealing his move. He did that move. Oh, I never seen that before, and then everyone's doing it.
We just saw it at WrestleMania this weekend, the air raid crash.
It's so funny, bro.
I believe Nova used to use it as the Kryptonite Crunch, if I'm correct.
Kryptonite Crunch, yep. Kryptonite Crunch.
I believe it was not Chaz, but Thrasher from the Headbangers who's sitting there watching the monitor backstage.
Yeah, I'm stealing that move.
And he's the one yelling, I'm stealing that move.
It's so funny.
And if you pay attention, one of the best things, especially, being 25 years after the fact now, paying attention to the guys who are just walking around in the background.
Yes.
Who aren't being necessarily filmed at the time, but like Chris Daniels is there. Yeah, he must have had, one of his 2000 WWE tryouts at the time. And that's Chris Daniels with hair still at that point. So it looks really weird.
Time, it's always weird with the hair. I hate that. Once he shaved the head, Fallen Angel.
The best thing that ever happened to Christopher Daniels was losing his hair.
It happens. Sometimes you need that, bro. It does help. That he had that whole gimmick, bro. Fallen Angel is one of my favorites.
But even seeing the interaction between the WWE wrestlers, right? There's that one scene where Foley brings his wife and kids backstage.
Stone Cold comes out.
Stone Cold comes over. Oh,
how
hey,
you doing?
Good to see
hey,
you.
Dewey, what's up? Hey, it's so cool.
It's
Rock
like
is going, hey, did you have fun at Disney? It's like, it's cool.
Now, one of the things I want to touch on, just because Mick Foley makes such a big deal about it in his book, is after the I Quit match, he gets it in his head that The Rock never checked on him. And he has Barry Blaustein check all the footage to see if The Rock ever came and checked on him. Because in his mind, he wants to use that in a promo to be able to get real emotion so he can go after The Rock in a promo one day. And they say, nope, Rock never came to check on you. Meanwhile, I must have got, I don't know what version of this movie I watched. I know there's a couple of different cuts. And so I watched the director's cut. And after Foley gets bandaged up and sewn up, there's a scene backstage where Foley and his son Dewey have an interaction with The Rock, and The Rock clearly says, hey man, how you feeling? Thank you. And they have like a full 5-minute chat. His Foley's son Dewey gives him like an energy drink, a Powerade or something. They even make a joke about Mick looks at his kid and goes, hey, you know what Rock's real name is? His name is Dewey too. And they sit there and they talk, and I'm sitting there going, how the hell did this whole scene is here? And Foley openly puts it in his book. The man never checked on me. I kept it for years. I was mad at The Rock for years, and it took years later where like they finally talk about it, and The Rock goes, could have sworn I checked on you. I'm really sorry if I didn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro.
It's such a focal point. I don't know whether it's the first or second Mick Foley autobiography, but it's a focal point of that book because it was something he held on to for a really long time because he wanted to be able to use it in a promo one day. Yeah, so as I'm watching this movie, that stood out to me like a sore thumb as someone who has read the Foley books a couple of times and knows them pretty well.
Those are good books. Good shit.
Especially for the time, like I said, this does a great job of humanizing Mick Foley it also made Mick Foley the avatar in a way for the WWE Universe before they were the WWE Universe. It
Yeah, I
made
get
you
that.
feel okay about being a wrestling fan because this guy wasn't very different from you.
Yeah.
He was a very normal guy. He had a very normal family, had a very normal car, and a very normal hobbies and stuff, and just wants to play with his kids and busts his dad balls. So, in a way, this was the precursor to making it almost acceptable to feel okay with being a wrestling fan.
I get that. He's you look at Mick Foley, I could do that. You know, hey, well, I look like that. Got this belly. Oh, so funny. Let me hit some music here, Joe.
Let's do it.
Are you a man? A double main man? Are you a man? A triple main man? A man? A quadruple main man? Are you a man? Are you a man?
All right, Joe. Ooh, a double dose of main man standards. I'm excited. Where does Beyond the Mat 1999 classic fall on your main man standards here?
Hey, this was a big deal for me as a wrestling crazed kid in 99 to be able to see wrestling from this whole new perspective. Before I was like a real, like true, like smart fan, I was just someone who was obsessed with wrestling and couldn't get enough of it. And to be able to see it, and to be able to see it now 25 years after the fact and still remember what it means to me. Obviously, things have changed. We're a lot more open about what we show about our wrestlers' personal and private lives now. But at the time, this was something
So crazy,
on the cutting edge. So for me, this movie is a 3.5 main man.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the same score again, 3.5. It's a good documentary. You get a little bit of everything. You know, you get the 4 different stories, and everyone's doing a little different thing. So you get a little bit of everything in the business. You know, you get the old guy begging Terry Funk, I need to be in this match. You know, he's fucking going through it, bro. And then you get the young up and comers struggling to get in there. So it's a good documentary. And then just the fact that they were there, you know, that I Quit match is iconic. That is a huge moment in the Mick Foley story. So it's crazy to see. I had a great time with it. Good shit.
What a way to wrap up WrestleMania week, JoeMeZ.
Yes, sir. WrestleMania week is done. Now we're gonna, you know, next week we'll be back to normal. So let's watch a normal movie, right? We're gonna stick into 1999. That's what we're doing this month. Let's see. What should we watch here, Joe? How about we check out a movie called American Pie? How you feel about that,
Joe?
When's the last time you seen that shit? Oh my
Couldn't
God.
even tell you.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I watched American Pie. So I'm very excited to see how this 1999 sex teenage comedy holds up here, bro.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see because at the time, once again, people in my generation who were in high school, near the end of high school, like for our age group, this was our movie.
All right, looking real quick. It doesn't look like it's streaming for free anywhere. So if you want to watch along, $3.99 on your Amazon, Apple.
How is this movie not streaming anywhere?
Pretty crazy, right? Not streaming anywhere. It's pretty wild. That's why we tell you buy DVDs. Why would you would think American Pie is something that you could watch whenever? But nope.
It just seems like that movie, it was so important for a generation of people that it should just always be available somewhere.
Yeah. Certain movies should just always be available, but it's not. So next week, American Pie should be fun.
After a very expensive WrestleMania weekend, open up those wallets for American Pie now. The 25th anniversary, which is insanity. I can't believe I'm at that age. And I say this every week. I know I do. I know it gets tired of hearing it, but every week it's something new that blows my mind that I actually made it this far.
Crazy. Well, that's next week, Joseph. What do you say we wrap this one up?
I think we should do that. Let's hit some music.
Let's hit it. It is now time for the big finish. right, Joseph. It's big finish time. We're sticking with the wrestling theme. There's no wheel. I know what I'm gonna ask you today, Joseph. We got a
baby.
fuck, marry, kill. Who you got, Joe? We've got The Rock, John Cena, and The Undertaker. The three big pops from last night, night 2 of WrestleMania. Fuck, marry, kill. What are you thinking right off the bat, Joe? We killing Undertaker, right?
Bro, this is the easiest fuck, marry, kill I've ever seen in my life.
Here we go. What's up? Undertaker,
We're definitely
right?
killing the Undertaker.
The dead man is dead again. Let's go. Now,
That's where he belongs. We're gonna fuck The Rock. He's good for a short time, but not a long time.
I agree. I don't think I would want to hang. I think The Rock would be very tiresome. But Joseph, now I was not a watcher of the show, but I hear John Cena's got some crazy rules and shit and total
with
divas,
his laundry,
right?
and stuff like
he's got like shit that you got. So you really want to marry that? I don't know, bro.
I'll tell you what. Here's how I get around it. We use separate bathrooms. John Cena has a very large house with plenty of bathrooms. We'll get around that very easily. We can sit, we could talk sports, we can hang out with some very cool people. Not Matt Cardona, I see him enough, but we'll hang out with other cool people that John Cena knows and just have a good time for everyone involved.
Like I said, I don't really know the show, so I just hear he's crazy. But to me, I'm like, whatever, I'll deal with it because I love me some John Cena.
He's very regimented and like organized and OCD about a lot of things.
Yes, but we'll deal with it. I could change him, right? We could change him.
He's also got a great pool.
Ooh,
I'm sure The Rock has a nice pool too. I'd rather go in John Cena's pool.
Nah, I don't think so. The Rock is too cool to be sitting in the pool. I don't think so. I think he's too busy.
Because a pool is like one of the things like you have to have when you're at that. The Rock is worth $800 million. I'm sure he has a fucking pool.
It's not John Cena's pool, bro. Come on.
It's probably twice the size of John Cena's pool just to prove a point.
Oh, that was an easy one this week, Joe. Let's get the hell out of here. Hit him with them plugs.
Guys, thanks so much for listening to the JoeMeZ podcast. Appreciate you all coming out and listening every week. We've seen our numbers from really the beginning of the year steadily climbing up, and it's very validating because we do put a lot of work into this. So thank you very much. Remember to follow us on all the social media at JoeMeZ. Join our Facebook group. It's free. Simply search JoeMeZ Podcast on Facebook. Right now, we're in the middle of a 30-day music challenge. We're all talking about what songs we like, favorite karaoke, favorite wrestling themes, favorite song to sing in the car, whatever comes up. It's good to see what everyone else, because we're getting things from all over the music.
All over the place. Here. I love it. I love it, though. I love to see what kind of shit every day. It's been a lot of fun. I love it.
You guys can catch out all my personal stuff at the Joe Shoes everywhere on social media. The new podcast, The State of Affairs, has finally launched yesterday, April 10th, Wednesday. It'll be here every other Wednesday from now on. Joe Shoes, Dylan Swaggle Postel, every other week in your ear holes, just debating about stuff and basically yelling at each other. I'm very excited for you guys to listen to that. I hope you check it out and enjoy it. Otherwise, I will be in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Ooh, what? What's going on there?
May 11th for ACW Wisconsin WrestleMania. Your double main man will be participating in the Battle Royal. I believe only general admission, standing room only tickets are remaining, but you'll have Nick Nemeth, you'll have Jake the Snake Roberts, Tyler Breeze, Swaggle, and of course, Captain Joe Shoes. So if you're in the area, come out, come to the convention. It's always a really good time up in Oshkosh.
Awesome. I'm the JoeMeZ154, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky. And folks, Sweaty Men in Tight was a great success. Thank you all who joined in and were watching, chatting along. We had a great time. I'll be doing it again. I've learned I need new hard drives, so I'm going to be organizing. And when I'm organizing, sometimes I just like to pop on the Twitch stream. So follow me at twitch.tv/mezmovie. It's a lot of fun over there, guys.
And that's a lot of work. JoeMeZ will be back next week. We're watching 1999 seminal classic, American Pie. So definitely check that out if you have it, a physical copy on DVD, or if you're going to go the VOD route, definitely
$3.99.
let's watch it. Let's see how it holds up with adult eyes.
This is going to be something. This is going to be something. I can't wait, Joe.
So Gomez, with all that being said, that's Amore, cowboy.
Peace.